All right, Jay, if you want to start.
Okay, I'll just call the meeting to the order of
Yeah.
October 27th, 6 p.m. City Planning Commission. Okay, Don, you want to take the roll?
Sure. All right, Jay, if you want to start.
Okay, I'll just call the meeting to the order of October 27th, 6 p.m. City
Okay.
Planning Commission. Okay,
All right. I'm
Bring
sorry,
something up.
I had two screens going, so it was playing
I
playing
see.
it
Okay.
back to me a couple seconds delayed. All right. Mr. King,
Here.
Ms. Davis,
Here.
Mr. Finnerty,
Here.
Mr. Polsley,
Here.
and Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Okay, and Miss Rizzi.
Here.
All right.
All right, so we got plenty of people, right?
Yep. We
How
have
about
a
Mrs.
quorum.
Davis?
I got her.
Yep, you got me. I'm
Yeah.
here.
No, I didn't hear you. Okay.
Okay, we'll start with the first old business. We're going to go on that one. Review of the final land development plan and lot combination plan by IIP-PA 1 LLP, it's called UC, for the 61,852 square foot addition to the UC Scranton Grove facility at 2000 Rosanna Avenue, IL zone. Is there someone here from there? Or are we just gonna, Don, what, like, we don't get the letters and everything now, so is this something we have to vote on, like, now that's what you want us to do, or is there questions we can ask, or what?
Yeah, well, for Juicy, we actually have two actions. We have a subdivision plan and we have a land development plan. I think we're in position to be able to give approval to the subdivision plan and a conditional approval on the land development plan.
And conditional on the land, is that what you said?
Conditional on the land development and a final approval on the subdivision plan.
Okay,
And we have Mr. Patrick McLean is here representing Juicy.
okay, good, okay, I was wondering, okay, all right, good. Okay, Pat, you wanna give us, if you wanna speak to the commission?
Sure. And I'm filling in for David Lopatka, but I've been in and out of the project since the beginning. Jushi's been working at this site for a while now. They plan to expand it. They've purchased a bunch of properties in the area. They plan to bring a number of more jobs to the area. They're consolidating a whole bunch of properties. It's pretty busy. There's a lot going on down in this little corner of Scranton, and we've been working with Mr. Pocious and his team and in the city to try to get a good land development and a project that everybody will be proud of. This includes a lot consolidation and land development. We're still working through utilities. We had to deal with DEP on the NPDS permit. I'm still going to work with Mr. King going forward on like a road crossing and some other minor little a sidewalk crossing and some other minor little issues that we have to deal with. But that's the project. They do grow marijuana at this facility. I don't want that to be a taboo, but that's what they do. If there's any questions, I answer them as best I can.
Does the commission, anybody have a question for Mr. McLean?
Okay, I believe I have the lot consolidation plan on the screen now.
Yeah,
Okay. So.
Patty, can I speak to it?
Yes.
This is John Pocious. We've been involved with this project since the beginning. It's been before the commission, I believe, since last winter, maybe January. We had an early meeting. It was kind of brought to the commission's attention. I'll deal with the lot consolidation plan first, which you have in front of you. This might be the third time we're approving this because they keep acquiring properties. If you look at the lower left-hand corner, I can't point because I don't have it. Right to the right and underneath the word Rosanna Avenue, those properties were acquired after we had started the original submission.
Yeah,
And I
all those houses
believe,
on the back, yeah.
and I believe there's still ongoing negotiations with other properties and so on and so forth, but this is the plan we have before us. They submitted a plan to us. It was August 18th, 2021. I gave them comments which were all addressed. I talked to Dave Lepatka afterwards. If you scroll in on that unnamed alley, no, we don't want the letter. We want the, stay on the map, Donnie.
Mhm. Let's see if I could zoom in on it some more.
Is that the one that's
Kinda have
behind the,
Okay.
behind the properties there?
No, Jay. The only comment I had, I asked them to reset the corners along, Donnie, if you would scroll down to like along Rosanna Avenue, those recently acquired properties down there, set the corners down there. If you go up the unnamed alley to the west, to the northwest, there's a corner that falls in the alley. And I told Dave, like, it's not marked as being set. You see the one I'm talking about? There's just a circle right there, kind of on the unnamed alley in the lands of the city of Scranton. So Dave was going to check with the surveyor. So whatever is set there is going to be have to be called out on the plan. That was my only final comment on the subdivision plan.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had
okay.
county approval back in August 25th. They received block consolidation approval from the county. So the only comment is that they have to still, and they gave me a letter when they resubmitted. They added the purpose of the lot consolidation plan. They added the note stating public water has been sewer available. Upon IPA acquiring your remaining parcels, the information and instrument numbers will be put on. If you look at this map, some of the properties say to be acquired. So when they get them by deed, before it's recorded, they're going to have to put the instrument number in that they acquired the property from. There's one property corner to be set. They added the rights of ways for Rosanna, East Market, and the alley. They have county approval and the title block was changed. So there's only two, they're not really comments. They're just, we won't sign the plan until, if you look in the middle, there's some things that say to be acquired and across the bottom of the screen. Once they record those deeds, if they're not already recorded, the final map shall show the instrument numbers and the lands being of number 2 Juicy, whatever that has to be. So basically, this plan is good to go. You can approve this for one last time.
The subdivision part. Right?
Yep, the subdivision,
okay.
and we'll go into the land development right after this. Donnie, you have any comments or no?
No, I think you covered them all.
Don, I think you're on mute. Yeah, like I said, this is an early map. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I just meant like this, we're gonna vote on these in 2 separate motions, correct? The land
Yes,
subdivision.
Because I want to
and
keep the
then
lot consolidation separate, yeah.
Yeah. So which one has to go first? Doesn't matter the order?
Well, lot consolidation should go first.
Yes.
So the conditional land use goes first.
No,
Oh,
lot
the one we're talking
consolidation
about
plan.
now. Okay, I get the jargon I got confused on.
Okay, but
Then the commission we need a motion and a second on the
two
subdivision
conditions
final land
being-
approval. Pardon?
final lot consolidation approval is what the commission would be voting on with 2 conditions. Designating the
conditions.
corner at the end of the unnamed alley and all the properties that say to be acquired, they'll have the instrument number that brings them into the lands of 2P PA1 LLC. Clear enough for the commission?
Well, yeah, we'll just vote on what you just said.
Yep.
Okay, So we need a motion and a second.
Correct.
So
Motion to
Commissioner,
approve the lot consolidation plan with the 2 conditions.
right,
I'll make a motion.
is that Bill?
Yeah.
Second,
this is Todd.
Todd will second it, okay.
Okay.
Hey, Don, do a vote.
On the question, Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Finnerty,
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi,
Yes.
Mr. Posley,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes,
Motion carries 6-0. Okay.
okay, now we need a motion on the conditional land use, or we need discussion first?
No, we gotta discuss this. We gotta
Okay.
discuss this. This needs,
All right.
commission has to be made aware of a few things here.
Wrong map.
We did issue, let's see, I gotta find my paperwork here. Hold on. Okay, Donnie, they don't have copies of this, do they?
No,
No.
because it's.
We're looking at it, what's on the screen, but that's it.
Yeah,
Okay, you have our letter on the screen?
yes,
Okay, we wanted to get this one on the agenda tonight only because it's been around so long, and getting conditional approval will kind of get it off the commission's plate and into the engineer developer to finalize the final conditions. 1, 2, 3 are really nothing. I mean, that's just right, Donnie?
right.
Number 4, that's just kind of a formality, but it's going to be required. Number 5 is a very serious condition. I want the developer to know that, the engineer to know that, and I want you commission members to know that.
Because they're
I
right up
picked
against
this
the
up
levee.
because I've been working. It's right against the levee, and they want to tie the sewer into a manhole that's contained inside the levee. I talked to Donnie about this back in August, because I've been around, we've been working on the Scranton Bridge package, the 4 bridges, and I've been involved in all the meetings. And in order to drill, even make the core borings for the Elm Street and the Parker Street Bridge, certain approvals and conditions had to be met with the Army Corps of Engineers to be in the levee way. So on August 13th, Donnie and I talked, and Donnie sent an email down to Andrew Orlovsky, who's with the Army Corps of Engineers. Andrew, we are reviewing plans for the expansion of a manufacturing facility in proximity to the Platte Green Ridge levee, a component of which is a sanitary sewer tied to an existing interceptor line with a new manhole to be located approximately 8 feet from the toe of the levee. Is there someone in your office that should be sharing these plans with to make sure there are no impacts to the levee? So he thanked Donnie that same day for getting them in, and he said, I'm forwarding the plans to Levee Safety Program Manager Alan Bodowski and Scranton Lead Engineer Netzi Ilu. They will let you know whether or not a section 408 permit is required for this action. I know there is a zone of influence where a permit is required pending both how deep the impact is and how far it is from the toe. So that's what question 5 is all about. It sounds kind of mundane, but I'm advising the engineer they should get a discussion. Ruther Bowen should have a discussion with the Army Corps. You were copied on this, and your response basically said that you didn't hear anything back. So this could be, I mean, it's not going to be a deal breaker, but it's going to extend the extent to you to get approvals if this has to go through a full-blown 408 permit. That's an extensive federal permit. It's going to take a while to get through that. So I would advise you to make contact with the Corps based on our August 13th email. Number 6, I don't believe we have will serve letters yet because I had a conversation with Pennsylvania American Water. There was a discussion with them, and they were unaware that tying into the manhole around the levee would take Corps approval. So that has to be that's kind of tied into where we're going there. Number 7, Donnie, maybe you could go to the plan, go back to that plan, like even any plan, the the lot consolidation plan, any one of the plans, show it, or the site plan.
Okay. I believe you're talking about this roadway in here.
Yeah, once we get there, yeah, it sounds like a mundane comment, but it has a lot of impact on the project. It's taking time to generate up.
Yeah, I'm trying to
It's
zoom
not
in.
really showing anything, Donnie. The site layout plan really has it shown. Here it is, guys.
Yeah.
You see it, shared driveway?
Mhm.
Yeah,
The property line falls down the middle of the driveway. We suggest that they have a conversation with the adjacent owner, the Catones, regarding the use of the driveway. If not, then really it can't be used as it's not wide enough to meet a 20-foot that where it could be considered two-way traffic. So there's some consequences with that thing. So it's going to take a little more work to, if you read the letter, like I said, if you can't get it, it's going to have to be one-way traffic, in or out. And that's gonna, for Juicy, because they would only have access to half the driveway. It's really too narrow to pass any kind of traffic. And if it's going to be used as an exit from the parking lot, we're going to have some more information. So number 7 has some consequences to it too. And the last comment, number 8, the security gate is actually, I believe, it's located within the right of way of Rosanna Avenue. They had some discussions with Donnie about maybe vacating that, but there's no formal action been taken yet. So either the gate has to get moved back inside the property until that time, but you can't gate off, you can't have it in the right of way at this point in time. So although they look like mundane comments, they have a lot of consequences to moving this plan forward. So, but we still would recommend they go as conditions. That way then they can be worked on and, by the owner, the engineer, and the agencies and the one adjacent owner. Don and I, we've been in discussion. You've been in discussion with Chris with this too, right? My reviewer.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are, so really, 6, 7, and 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are kind of 8. I'm not too worried about, but 5, 6, and 7 are comments that have to be addressed satisfactorily because they deal with outside agencies and they're not something we can hold granting approval up for. That's the reason for conditional approval. It's really beyond our jurisdiction as the city. Number 7 is a property to property, like a civil matter. Number 6 is with PAW, and number 5 is with the Army Corps. So those are the concerns.
So John, we can make a
Does any commission
motion.
members? I know I said a lot.
Can we make a motion?
Basically, to approve the project with
conditional use.
Approval.
Yes.
yeah, with the 8 conditions in our letter today. That would be the appropriate motion. Right, Don?
Yes.
I have one other question. That unnamed alley.
Sure.
So that's shown
Yes.
as being encroached upon to some degree on the site plan,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Will
The
that
alley
be kept
itself-
open?
That's a good question. I mean, if they were going to vacate Rosanna Avenue, if they make that request, they may want to make the same request to vacate the alley. I don't think it's going to be open. It serves no other purpose.
So
I have
there's
to
no
admit, they are
access.
looking at acquiring other, they are looking at acquiring other properties as we speak. I mean, it's a known
Okay.
thing. Where do they stop? I don't know. But it serves no purpose because it doesn't go right through. You know, it stops at the end of the, it dead ends at their property.
Right, but
So-
those
So it's only a
houses
value
or
to them.
garages don't need that for access? The one shown along the alleyway?
See who's even there. McMullen's Bar is on the corner, and I think there's a couple houses. I'm not sure.
So it's on the other end, isn't it? Oh,
Well, what
fine.
I'm saying
We're
is,
talking
I
about
mean,
this one
from my
here.
experience, if that access in the alley was deemed necessary for the functioning of those properties, then that would be a reason why the city may not choose to vacate Rosanna Avenue. That request hasn't been made. So as the plan sits today, Rosanna Avenue is still a city right of way, and the alley is still a city right of way. So we're really not doing anything right now that jeopardizes this effect, okay?
All right.
They're both public rights of ways as this map is presented to you. And until such time, if they do make a formal request for Rosanna, the alley would have to be looked at as a part, we would review that and make a recommendation, yea or nay, whether Rosanna should be vacated. Okay? So right now, they're both, as shown on the plan, they're both public rights of ways. And until such time as any councilmatic action is taken, they are public rights of ways.
But, so the
Boy, that was a
shared drive,
mouthful.
shared drive is a public right of way? Is that what we're
No.
talking about?
Private property.
Okay, but then, okay, the alley's in the center here then. I'm trying to remember, that alley behind McMullen's, you mean? There's an
Yes.
alley in there someplace?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
right above, it says alley, right in the
It looks
middle
Oh,
of it.
like
right there,
those
okay, I see it,
people-
okay.
It
So
looks like
that's,
those people can access their properties from that alley from the back.
yeah, like is they're using it for parking or anything like that, yeah.
Correct. Well, like I said, I don't know, Jay. I mean, as it sits right now, the alley is staying. And,
Rosanna
the
Avenue,
remaining properties, the Keystone Community Resources and everything else in there, they did acquire a couple of properties coming out, but, that's still staying as public rights of ways what you're approving, they are public rights of ways. There's nothing by your approval that gets them, they are still public rights of ways.
Yeah, and if you could see the aerial photo, it doesn't look
Yeah.
like,
it's that
it
little,
doesn't look
yeah, I
like
see
it's
it
being
now.
used by anybody. It'd be this area here,
Yeah,
Yep. It kind of, yeah,
and it dead ends into a private property.
yeah.
The second property in next to McMullen's appears to use the alley to access that garage in the back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe Jushi's requesting this to acquire all of Rosanna
Rosanna
Avenue.
Avenue? Not yet.
There's been no formal request made at all, Patrick. So what I'm saying is, the plan that you presented and everything shown it is as it is. Rosanna Avenue is still a right of way, and the unnamed alley is still a right of way. So I don't, we're talking about maybe down the road. So I don't think we should confuse the approval with bringing that in because it hasn't been requested yet.
All right,
And there's no formal request before the mayor and council to vacate any of these streets yet. It's only talk. So I don't want to hold this up because it's, like I said, they're rights of ways and they'll stay rights of ways until such time as they're asked to be not rights of ways anymore.
right.
So the
so,
correct motion on the land development would be, conditional approval based on the 7 conditions in the October 27, 2021 letter by the city engineer.
I think there's 8 conditions, aren't there?
I
Yes,
believe
there
so,
is.
yes.
8.
so we need approval with 8 conditional questions.
8
that
conditions.
need to be answered later. How's the commissioners feel?
This is Jack Finnerty. I have a question.
Yes, Jack.
What's the advantage of giving a conditional approval versus withholding approval until the conditions are met?
I mean, really, Jack, the thing is, and Donnie could speak to this more from the planning aspect, is conditions that are outside the jurisdiction of the city's approval status really can't be held over the heads of the applicant. Donnie, am I correct?
Yes.
Most of them are outside agencies. I mean, 4 is DEP, 5 is Army Corps, 6 is PAW, 7's a private property agreement, and 8 is it's a simple matter to move the gate back.
John,
I mean,
is
yes,
it fair to say that land development, anytime you're doing a project that involves land development, because of all these multiple approvals, you're talking 6 to 8 months out just to get those, this will kind of get the ball rolling so they can go to those entities to get those approvals, correct?
Well, they're almost there. They're really there. I mean, they just, I mean, the one that, the only one I really have some concern with is the Army Corps. I think they already have an agreement out with PAW, how they can connect to the sewer if the Corps, with Corps approval. So, but then again, I think PAW is going to hold back until they're sure that what the developer's asking for can be done. You know what I'm saying? If the sewer can go out the back to that manhole.
John, let me ask another question then.
Sure, I love questions.
So that
No, I do. I really do. It keeps my brain sharp, Jack.
we both need that, believe me. All right.
That's why I like this.
With each passing day. Okay, so in the letter that where the stipulations were made of conditions that need to be addressed, some of them really the city does have control of, but a number of them we do not. Could you restate the ones that you think the city has to have is a definite player in?
Well, it's kind of like 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
3 is just, we don't request final signatures on the plans with notary
Emergency rooms.
are basically on the final sets they ask to be when they're finally all approved. The final engineers and surveyor signatures and states, that's just a formality. It's not really a condition. It's a condition. We just make note of it. And I'm sure, Donnie, the fire department will get a look at this either now or in the building permit process. But I don't think there's going to be an issue because there's already hydrants in the area.
Yes,
Okay.
and the building itself will be all sprinklered and fire shouldn't be an issue. I mean, basically, what a conditional approval doesn't give them approval until they meet the conditions. What it takes off the table for them is
Correct.
having to come back to the commission to show that they've met the conditions. So if magically tomorrow they were able to meet all the conditions, they would just provide me proof and they wouldn't have to wait until next month's planning commission meeting to get a vote on it. That's basically what it is. And it allows the engineer and the owners to know here's the final list of things we have to accomplish.
All right.
I mean, this is standard operating procedure. We've been trying to, right, Donnie, for going along. I mean, once we get to this point where it gets down to, a few conditions like this, especially outside agencies, that we try to move it off the commission's plate. It's not that they just go away and don't come back. I mean, there's the building, like they can't get building permits until these are met. So really, they will bring proof into Donnie, whether it be a letter or an email from the Army Corps, the will serve letters from Pennsylvania American. The 537 module exception is a formal submission to DEP, which you get a formal letter back. if they cannot reach an agreement on how that driveway is to be used, then, you know, basically, we already told them it may have to be one way.
Mhm.
You know, we can't let incoming and outgoing traffic go in a 19-foot driveway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
So we have control over that. But that's because it's commonly shared, the thing is, they have to at least get a conversation with the owners of the next property to see if they can come up with with some kind of use agreement on the driveway.
Okay.
Because it also allows Catone to access the rear of his property. But there's nothing in our ordinance that really covers that. It's kind of an outside civil between property owner type agreement.
Right. And the bottom line is if they can't get that approval, they could still use it as a one-way driveway.
We kind of said that right in there.
Yes.
And we'll let them have the designation, whether it's in or out. You know what I'm saying? You see it?
Mhm.
So that's really the advantage. It allows them a little more freedom and they can, but it does not take any responsibility away from them.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes they're inside of a month, and sometimes it takes a couple of months, right, Don, to get, or, longer to get these agency approvals and bring them in.
Mhm.
That's why I'm saying the core is one that's gonna have to be checked on, you know? It could be nothing. They could just share the influence lines and it may not be an issue. And then PAW will fall into place and they have a project, you know? And if I was them, I would just move the security fence back inside the property for a couple of feet until that time or whatever, and that would be it. That's my answer to number 8, but if it's still shown in the right of way, then we're not gonna approve it.
At this point, has there been any suggestion of what, assuming the project goes through to completion, what the number of new jobs created would be?
Maybe Patrick can answer that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm filling in for my colleague Dave Apopka, who's handled the project. I'm sure there's a number out there. It's a decent sized number, but I do not know what it is. I apologize.
Patrick, could you get that to the committee at some point subsequent?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Jack, I think I asked that once before. I thought he said it was definitely above 100.
Yeah,
Wow.
I believe it was around 150.
Okay.
I mean, look at the
I'll
parking
confirm.
places. Look at the parking places on the new site plan. It's
Yeah.
substantial, the parking lot, you know?
I'll confirm.
I mean, it's a great project. It's a great project. There's no real disruption to, it's not a noise-making facility. It's grow plants and harvest them and sell them, you know? These are the certificates like that get signed. You see them on the first, but we don't ask, that's like the first 2 comments. You know, the final plans have to be signed and sealed. and
Yeah,
notarized.
I'm just looking at the notes to see if, I think they may have noted the employees for the parking table.
Okay,
I'll find it too, Don. $163 spaces provided, approximately 100 employees.
Okay.
okay.
That's per the plans.
Yeah.
And like John mentioned a couple times, it might not be done acquiring properties and expanding. They might not be done yet.
I understand that because, there's rumors about, I'm not going to give anything out, but they're looking to, expand their footprint, right, Patrick? That's the best way to say it.
Correct.
Well, what's the next step here, guys? Do we need a motion and a second, or what do we want to do?
I mean, as your professional city engineer, I think it should move forward. There's nothing really to hold it up, with the 8 conditions in the letter. And,
Well, I
Donnie,
can
you
talk
read
to the
the
other,
same thing?
John, to the other commissioners, I've done this before. I've been on the board the longest, or the commission the longest, and this is not the first time we've had to do conditional approvals. They are pretty much a standard to move things forward and to help the project, go on to conclusion. If you have any concerns, I'm just, we've done this before.
And
Okay,
it usually falls down to like maybe they don't have their MPDES permit in hand, which I believe they do on this case, not, I think they got they do. They have the county approval, the county recommendation, so they'll clean these up. We've worked with these guys before. They'll do the job. They'll get the work done and they'll get it done.
Yeah, I would recommend final approval conditioned on the 8 condition contained in the city engineer's 10/27/21 letter.
okay. Can we just use your words there, Don?
Sure.
Okay, then,
So
okay.
moved.
Then we need, it's okay. First, we need a motion. We got the
Second.
motion. Second, okay. Okay, Don, take the vote.
All right. Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes,
Mr. Finnerty,
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi,
Yes.
Mr. Polsley,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes,
Motion carries.
Thank you. It's a good project and we hope
Yeah.
to see them, get the conditions met and get the information into Don and ourselves and we'll let you know. Thank you. Thanks, Patrick.
Everybody for your time. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good
yeah,
evening.
thanks, Pat. Okay, buddy.
I know.
Okay, we'll move on to the
Patrick,
next
you'll share
one.
that with Dave? You'll share my comments with Dave?
Absolutely. He's got them already. We've talked about them.
Thank you very much, Patrick, okay?
Thank
guys
you.
will get the
All right,
job
good night,
done. I know
everybody.
you will. You'll get it done. Thank you.
Okay, the next one, review of final land development plan for the 7,900 square foot Northeast Oral Surgery Center to be constructed in the 1100 block of North Washington Avenue, IL zone. Is there someone here from that?
Yes,
Yes.
Lou Koza, Kylie
Who
Associates.
calls it? How you
Good
doing,
e-
Lou?
Good evening.
Here.
We've been before you with a sketch plan with our initial submittal. Just as a reminder, this property, this 1.79 acres was subdivided off a parent tract and recorded in December of last year. It's an 8,100 square foot building. It's a medical office building with oral surgeons, 31 parking places. It does cross the Dunmore Borough line. You can see that along the back. We've
In the
kept
back, yeah.
we've kept all construction out of the rear of the property. We did send a plan to Dunmore Borough and have not heard anything back. So we're assuming they don't have any comments. Our lot coverage is 75%. We have a subsurface stormwater basin under the front parking lot that discharges to the combined sewer on our side of North Washington Avenue. There you go. So I've got Mr. Poch's letter from September 28th with 6 comments on them. Items 1 and 2 are a given. Donnie, I want to talk to you about those before we finished. Correspondence from the City of Scranton Fire Department. I've never received anything. I do know that a building permit has been issued on the project, though.
Yes,
Yes.
I've discussed this one with the fire department months ago, and on land development purposes, they were okay. There's a hydrant right across the street, I believe.
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't need anything in writing from them.
No.
Okay. ENS approval was issued by the Lackawanna County Conservation District. I believe you have the letter. If not, I can get you a copy. That's dated 9/15/21. Pennsylvania Act 537 Planning Module Exemption, that was issued on October 15th of this year. And the will serve letter from PAWC for sewer service was issued on 9/28. So I believe, and if you don't have those, Donnie, let me know, please. And I will
I
make sure.
don't think I have the DEP letter back. I know I signed off on the module.
You signed off on it, and I believe when the the office personnel who wrote the letter up, I believe it was copied to you, but I will send you another copy tomorrow morning.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay.
Lou, would you, on those 3 letters, would you send one up to Chris?
Yep.
For 4, 5, and 6, just copies, we can pop them in our file?
Yep. That's not a problem.
And just for the commission's benefit, immediately to the north of this property is the previously approved storage unit center.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is the fire department was okay with that. So, you know, it's the same thing. They're next to each other. So
Right.
that's really, if they've been in for permits, then
I
then
understand.
I
that
think
talk to
number
the
3 can even
project
drop out
architect.
too.
Is the building permit has been issued. So, the only things missing are the signatures on the cover sheet. And I can have those done hopefully this week. I just have to track the owner down. Do you need original signatures, Don, or can I just get them copied and get them on copies of the plans?
I think for recording purposes, the recorder of deed is going to want to see original signatures.
And how many copies of the plans do I need?
They only need one.
Okay,
And we don't, you know, Donnie, Lou, we don't want any, well, once you're done with us. I don't need a billion plans in the office to store. So,
oh, you've got
Really?
my last plans, yeah.
yeah, really, Lou, we'll sign as many copies as you want to send in, but, you know, sometimes people get overburdened, but you're going to need original signatures like mine and Donnie's for the county, and the original property signatures, and your original engineers and surveyors should sign off too. So if you want to get 2 title sheets signed or something like that, just to be safe, that's up to
Okay.
you, you know?
And who's gonna do the record? I haven't done any work in the city of Scranton in a long time. So please excuse my ignorance.
No,
You'll record it.
I record it and they
Yes,
only require 1 copy.
yes.
Okay,
And like I said, we don't require any because once you record with them, that'll be on their online system. So if I
Right.
ever need it, I could always get it from them.
do I have to record the entire plan set or just the cover sheet?
no, I think everything.
Yes.
Okay. Entire plan set, okay. And like I said, a building permit's been issued. What do I need so my client can start construction on this project? Because they really wanted to be under construction before winter set in, and I think we're pushing our luck here. They're in a current facility whose lease expires, I think, in under a year or close to a year from today.
Yeah, I've met with your contractor, and because we were so far through this, I told them they could pull the building permits.
Right,
We just wouldn't issue a certificate of occupancy until
Okay.
everything has been taken care of. So
okay.
they're good to go construction wise. And at this
That's
point, I'd recommend final approval with only conditions 1 and 2 from the letter. All the other conditions have been met.
right.
I'll
Hey,
verify
Commissioner,
that.
did you hear that?
That's great.
All
Very
right.
good. That's what I needed to know.
So are we, any more questions from the commission? Hearing none, well done. Then we need a motion and a second.
Correct.
Okay, I need a motion and a second, Commission.
I'll make the motion, Todd.
Okay, second,
I'll second. Jane,
Jane Rizzi,
Got it.
okay. Okay, Don, take the score there.
Okay. Ms. Davis,
Yes,
Mr. Finnerty,
Yes.
Ms. Rizzi,
yes,
Mr. Posley,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes,
And I think we lost Mr. King. He had to attend another meeting.
or rally, one of the other.
So motion carries 5-0. All
All
Okay,
right. Thank
Very
you,
good.
Lou.
all right, thank you. And
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with getting the necessary signatures. I
Yeah.
guess from your office, John?
Yeah, you get the plans to me and I'll get them circulated.
Okay. I will do
Okay,
that.
yeah,
I'll
We'll
prob-
get them
I'll
to
probably
Donnie,
do-
get whatever you want signed to Donnie, title sheets. And then we hook up, we did a lot of parking lot signatures, so don't worry about it. We'll hook up and we'll get them signed for you, you know?
Okay,
All
'Cause
right,
with construction in the back of City Hall, it's awful hard to get in the building now, you know?
no, I know. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just mail 2 copies of the cover sheet
That's
and we
fine.
can just bounce them back and forth.
Yeah, just, if you
Whatever
could give
works for
us, when you send 4, 5, and 6 to Donnie, just send them to Chris too, Lou, okay?
Yeah, I will. Yep, I made a note on my copy of the letter, so I'll do that in the morning.
You're good to go, so you can give your client the good news.
I will tomorrow morning.
Okay, very
All right,
good, thank
thanks,
you.
folks.
Another great project for the city, you know?
Yes, it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
we're gonna
It's
do
gonna
it.
be a nice building.
Professional building, you know,
Yep.
just what we need here, you know?
Yeah, professional medical office building. The building has been designed for a small expansion, which isn't happening, but it may happen in the next couple of years. So,
Excellent.
yep.
Good.
All right, very good. Thanks for your help, everybody.
okay, Lou,
Thanks,
take
Lou.
care.
All right, have a good night.
Hey, Don, we probably should skip to the new business part to do the Cherry Street project before we discuss the zoning ordinance stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, review of the final minor subdivision plan by David and Nicole Leone. The rear of 1500 block of Cherry Street. I guess that's what was on there. Okay, Don, tell us about this one, what we need to do. We can expedite it.
Well, we've already been through phases 1 and 2 of this. This is phases 3 and 4. So it's basically the same the same type of subdivision we've been doing before. We have Mr. Parker's here. He could explain what's going on, and I'll pop one of these up on the screen so you see what we're looking at.
Good evening, commission members. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, George.
Great. If you take a quick look at the top right corner, the location map, the area that's crosshatched is the one that for the plan that you're looking at now. But if you look just to the left of that, there was a plan, 2 plans submitted in the earlier part of the year. If you look at right in there you go. It was in that area. So tonight's 2 submissions are the one that's crosshatched on this set of plans, and then you're going to see a second set of plans with the parcel to the northwest of there. The part that you're looking at on this plan now is, we'll call it the top of the hill on Cherry Street, if you're familiar with the area, and you could see just to the edge of the drawing where the cul-de-sac is at the top of the hill. So that's the area you are in. The parcels coming downhill from that cul-de-sac are the first group of parcels we're going to be talking about on this set of plans. All of the properties that border Cherry Street have an undeveloped alley behind them or to the rear of them. And then the parcel owned by Leonore's, if you want to show them, Donnie, the first page of that plan, if you have it.
I don't know if I have that one queued up or not. No. Let me see here.
Maybe well, I could explain it anyway, but you may have the second sheet of each plan there.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, that's fine. So go back to the first one.
Okay. Let me see here.
The area is the area that you see between the undeveloped street at the bottom and the alleyway that's undeveloped, where you see the little Z's, we'll call them. Those are the lands of Leonore. From the undeveloped street to undeveloped street left to right, and then there's undeveloped street on the bottom. That was all one parcel, 600 feet long, and it's going to be divided up in such a manner that the property owners along Cherry Street would procure them from Leonore's, and they would only be procuring the land directly behind the parcel they already own on Cherry Street. The condition is that they can not use or occupy the undeveloped alley, and if they ever sell their property on Cherry Street, that these lots that you see here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 have to go with those parcels on Cherry Street if they're ever sold.
But they can never be developed. Is that what they wanted?
Correct. They can be used to walk around and look at, but they cannot put structures on them such as garages or houses or anything like that because there's technically no way to access them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
See, everything around them is undeveloped.
All right.
Um,
They just want to maintain a green space, so to speak, huh?
Correct.
All right.
So the plan you're looking at, other than the fact that they're different owners and different part of Cherry Street, are the same type of a plan we had approved earlier in the year, phases 1 and 2. Mr. Pocious did review this plan, most expeditiously, I may add, because I gave it to him on short notice. I did address all the comments that were in his comment letter, and the plan that you're looking at now, I believe, is up to, there you go, there's a good picture of it.
So that's the green
area
space
that
up.
I'm showing right
All right.
there is where the plan you're looking at earlier is, that's where it's located, behind those houses. Good photograph, Danny.
Yeah. They're really at the top of that mountain, aren't they?
Yeah, yes, they are. So yeah, if we backed off there, so you can get an idea where we're at.
Donnie, what was this development called? Donnie, this was done back in the 90s or 80s. What was this
Yeah,
development called? The one on the front side.
yeah,
Was it like,
I can't
it was
remember.
Bob Osborne's, I think. He was a developer there.
Yeah, yes,
So
I
it's all
can't
newer
remember either,
homes.
Don. I
huh?
remember when it came, I was on the planning commission then, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, it's all brand new homes, yeah.
Oh, all newer homes, yeah. Like,
Yes.
so there's no need for a garage in the back or anything like that on the
No.
land, right?
no,
Good.
okay, so. Let me go back to. Go back to the plan itself. Yeah, and I have to give the Leonore's a lot of credit for, that's a lot of legwork to make deals with all these property owners.
Yeah, they did a nice job
Yes,
to buffer their properties from future development, you know?
yes.
Good
Mhm.
idea.
Now, was it also one of our conditions, I'm bending on memory now, which is increasingly dangerous with each passing day, but these parcels that are essentially becoming extensions of where the
They're-
homeowners are,
Yeah, yeah.
they can't be individually sold, right?
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
so it almost, does that mean that there's one deed now on these properties and they just changed the dimensions on them?
No,
I
I
mean,
believe,
each property gets their own, extends their deed, I guess, huh?
I believe they're going to have, these new lots will all have separate pins, but the stipulation of the approval of this plan is that they could not, for example, they could not individually sell lot 12 to anyone. They
Right.
would have to sell lot 12 if they sold the property along Cherry Street also.
So in essence, each February, the homeowner would get two separate tax bills.
That's my understanding.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
one one for the developed part and one for the undeveloped.
Right.
All right.
George, I don't know how you handled it the first time. Were these conditions put in the deeds?
Yes, sir. Word for
They're
word,
deed
like you have
conditions,
on the
which are
plan.
stronger than anything. Deed conditions go with the land. They're irreversible. So that's a very strong way you're doing it with a deed condition.
Great.
Word
That's
for
what the
word,
people
what
want,
you-
right?
word for word, the condition you see on here would be on the deed.
Mm-hmm. And just so the commission knows, I did have a chance to give George a quick review. All the comments were drafting in nature. That's all they were. You know, George, you got them, right? I mean, they were just drafting and
Correct, you wanted some
sometimes they
dimensions.
don't know, like with CAD, if a layer gets turned off or whatever, but there were certain dimensions missing and labeling. But there was 4 or 5 conditions on each, there was 2 separate subdivisions, one for 022 and one for 040, the last 3 of the PIN number. But they were similar, just labeling some rights of ways, labeling the undeveloped alley as undeveloped, putting like on the right side of this, the labeling the unopened street and the right of way width. So they were probably all 20 minutes worth of work, you know, maybe for the CAD operator. And also this thing we're gonna need, we didn't meet last month anyway, because there was lack of a quorum. George, did you get this into the county?
I did.
So it should be handled at the November meeting. Hopefully we'll have a quorum, and that's the only outside agency condition we need is a county review. So, George, the comments were minimal. They were just drafting. You got them, right?
Correct. You wanted some printing moved around and you wanted dimensions added.
And you know, I don't think there was areas on the one lots. I mean, I don't remember, but it
Right,
wasn't,
you're right.
there was no, you had to show the corners on the other lot. It's all spelled out in what I gave you, and I have the red lines. So I'd appreciate it when this, because we're gonna recommend approval with the conditions of my emails. You send me like the PDF so I can get a look at them before you print them, you know, and send them in for signature.
Absolutely.
Either drop them off or send me, I don't mind reviewing the second set on a PDF if you want to email them to me, you know?
You would want a PDF or you want the hard copies like before?
You know, hard copies, if you put them on my back porch like last time, it's great.
Okay, we'll do.
Once you get all. But this is exactly, commission members, what was approved the first time. Exactly in the format, same notes are on the plan, same information, just for the different parcels. And the only reason it's here is because it's more than, if it was only 2 lots, then maybe it could have been reviewed under the special regulations by Donnie and I, but because it's more than 2, it has to come before the commission.
All right. Okay, so commissions, what do you feel? Any questions?
I'd be happy to move the approval of this.
You're making a motion? Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr.
second.
President.
And a second, we got a motion and a
Second.
second, Don.
All right, are we voting on phases 3 and 4? They're both essentially the same, so I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We
Put
could
that
do
in
the
the,
same vote for both.
when you put the motion down there and put that in the minutes, put
Okay.
that in there
All
and
right,
then
so
we'll vote on it.
we're voting on the final subdivision approval of phases 3 and 4 of the Leonore subdivision with the conditions contained in the city engineer's emails to Mr. Parker.
Right.
And the other condition would be that we
October
receive a
20th.
review of the county planning commission.
All right.
I had that in there, Donnie. I had it in my thing too.
Okay, good enough.
And it's
All
for parcels ending in PIN numbers 022 and 040
Okay.
Okay, you got that all done?
for the record.
Yep, I have
Yeah,
it.
okay, then redo the motion and the second then.
I approve the motion as currently stated, yeah.
All right, and then the second?
Second.
Second, okay, now Don, you can take roll.
Okay. Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Finnerty,
Yes,
Ms. Rizzi,
Yes.
Mr. Posley,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Motion's carry 5-0.
Thanks, Donnie. Good job.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, John, and
Yeah, George, thanks, buddy.
thank you, commission
Thanks,
members.
George.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
George.
Take care, be well.
Okay, Don, you want to talk about the zoning ordinance, I guess, because you put it on the agenda. so-
Well, I just put it on the agenda in case there's any questions. I'm still tinkering with it and
What's
every
the
time you
holdup
read
here?
through it,
What's the
every time you
holdup?
read through it, you think of something else you want to put in there or something else you want
So it's
covered a
not
little
any-
better.
It's not any particular municipality or anything? It's just language?
Yeah, it's just language. Just trying to tighten up a few things of issues that we've come across with particular uses that I want to make sure are explained properly in there. And we have
Are
the
we-
right set of standards for certain things.
Are we okay legally with the whole organization that did all this for us? Are we still okay with them?
Yes, yeah.
Don, what is the process going forward, and are there opportunities for public comment?
Well, yes, when I get a final draft together, I will submit that to the commission. So what I would ask at that point in time is that the commission reviews that, and the commission will be asked to make a formal recommendation to city council to adopt.
Yeah.
Okay, and then at council during public
Yeah, the
participation.
council will have to have a public hearing on it also.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a really specific criteria for adopting a zoning ordinance in the state planning code. And one of the things is once the commission makes a recommendation on it, if something changes after that, it has to come back to the planning commission for another recommendation. So trying to get it to the point where we only have to do this once.
Do this once, yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Any other commissioners have any questions for Donnie?
Just a little more feedback on the ordinance, because I sit on the county planning commission,
Yeah,
just for the commission members, and I guess it's down to Scranton and Dunmore is not going to vote until Scranton votes, Donnie. I think that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's,
So, but there's no deadline now, but if either one of the municipalities would vote it down, that could cause some consternation, because it might break up the continuity, right, Donnie, of the SAPA?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm not expecting that to happen.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that's just like, it's like one of,
Yeah.
it's just one of the conditions, so I believe it's the right thing to do to make sure Donnie is, when he gives you the final version, that he's satisfied, because these little things that come up in the zoning reviews that maybe take a variance, he maybe could clean it up in the ordinance or vice versa, right, Don?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually more trying to make sure that we have proper controls in there for certain types of uses.
Yes. And making things, a lot easier going forward,
Yeah,
since we spent all this time on it.
All right.
okay.
Well, as a motion to adjourn, are we ready for that?
So moved.
Okay, everybody. See you next month or whenever Donnie decides to have a meeting.
All right.
Well, just to let you know,
Okay.
we do have another land development in before us. I didn't make the agenda tonight because I got in too late, but we are looking at land development for the old Perotti building out on Main Avenue. You familiar
Okay,
with
yeah.
that, guys?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that'll be the next major project that you guys will see as far as the land development. So there is a lot happening in Scranton. We get projects, they're very nice. You know what I'm saying? You guys have seen
Yeah.
some nice projects. We got a
John-
nice oral center going out there next to a U-Haul out there, not a U-Haul, but a storage center facility on a vacant piece of property on North Washington Avenue. So it's going to be good.
John, Perotti is a Basilica project?
I believe so. I believe
Yeah.
it might be under
I think
an
he bought
LLC
it
or
off
something.
Russo. I think Russo was gonna do it and then he bought it off, then he sold it to Bosica.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're absolutely right. We started reviewing plans for Artie Russo a few years ago,
Yeah,
I think Gordon Lawson was the engineer, and I think they ran into some roadblocks or didn't want to proceed. And property just, I think they secured it, and I believe the property changed hands into one of Mr. Basiliga's
yeah.
corporations or LLCs, and they have a new engineer, Cole Nagy, and they're moving it forward.
Substantial building.
Well, I saw
Nice.
that, I drove by that where he's doing that bar over up in Trips Park. I really bought
Yeah.
that. We used
Yeah.
to see that place. He's done a lot of major work.
Jay, I spent a
Yeah,
lot
that
of time
neighborhood
in the old
bar.
Far Street Tavern.
I know the old Forest Street Tavern. I
I
haven't
spent
been
a
there
lot
in
of
years,
time
but
there. It was a
I'm
great, it was
telling
a
you,
neighborhood.
he's
it was
really
a
putting a lot of
neighborhood,
money into it.
Legend.
Yeah.
They were
It'd be really
wonderful
nice when
people,
it's
the
done.
Colorasis. They're wonderful people that ran it. It was a wonderful place to go. A real neighborhood bar. Fantastic.
Okay. I'll see y'all next week. Or
All
next
right,
month, right?
thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.